Trust. Do not speak of my sister. I never. Did you hear what I said? Do not speak of my sister. She is not here. You started. You want to be a big shot and send the letter? No, I actually didn't start it. I was accused of something that wasn't true. I want to be a part of your world, Caroline. And that's the biggest gift you could give me. It wasn't a gift for you. It's a gift for me. How's that? God bless you. Love, my baby. Love. Caroline Manzo was once seen as the steady anchor of the Real Housewives of New Jersey, the mother figure, the voice of maturity amid chaos. She projected calm in rooms full of yelling and reason when everyone else fought for attention. Fans looked to her as the moral compass of the group, the woman who stood above petty drama, a beacon of family loyalty and composure. Reacted to something she thought her mother was getting hurt. I'm not saying while I'm being chased by her mother and Teresa. I was. She was getting hurt. One thing I will tell you, she has the integrity to say what she did is wrong. And what did I say? She's taking responsibility. She's taking responsibility for her actions. Okay. And really, how so? How so? By going to the court, by saying to the police officer, yes, I did. And this is why. I was attacked, Caroline. Let's make something very clear here. There was no threat. There was no, I'm going to kill you. Tell the truth, then I'll respect you. But behind that calm tone and moral posture was a growing list of controversies, lawsuits, tax debt, family fractures, and accusations that now haunt her legacy. The strong family woman image she carefully built began to crumble under the weight of real-world complications that didn't fit the television narrative. This is the story of how a woman once celebrated for strength and composure became the center of scandal. From the ultimate girls' trip lawsuit that made headlines to money problems and crumbling family relationships, Caroline's public image has been tested in every possible way. Caroline claims Bravo would regularly push the show stars to drink alcohol and then direct, encourage, or allow them to sexually harass other cast members because that is good for ratings. Now, it was reported in January of last year that Caroline and Brandi left filming in Morocco early after Brandi allegedly kissed Caroline multiple times without her consent. If she once ruled Bravo's family table, now she's fighting to keep her place at it. No longer the voice of reason, but the subject of debate, controversy, and quiet disappointment. Caroline Manzo built her reputation carefully, brick by brick, episode by episode. When The Real Housewives of New Jersey first aired in 2009, she quickly emerged as the grounded one. In a cast defined by chaos, Caroline seemed different. Calm, rational, and fiercely protective of her family. She didn't just join a reality show. She took command of it. Her husband, Albert Manzo, owned the Brownstone, a famous New Jersey banquet hall that had become a symbol of success and respectability. Caroline's voice carried authority. She preached about loyalty, family bonds, and doing the right thing, often scolding other castmates for being immature or disloyal. Her tagline, "Let me tell you something about my family," became iconic, a declaration that nothing mattered more than her loved ones. Fans respected her discipline. She seemed like the adult in the room, the rare reality star who valued dignity over spectacle. Her home life looked peaceful, her marriage steady, and her values unshakable. But cracks began to show. Her confidence started to look like control. Her loyalty, once admirable, turned selective, especially when family disputes spilled into the open. She was accused of being judgmental, condescending, and too involved in other people's drama under the guise of guidance. In many ways, Caroline's rise was built not just on family values, but on perception. The idea that she was different from other housewives, too wise to fall into scandal. Yet, reality TV has a cruel way of exposing its stars. The higher you climb, the farther there is to fall. And for Caroline Manzo, that fall would come fast and very publicly. We are never ever going to see this season of Ultimate Girls Trip because now Caroline Manzo, formerly of Real Housewives of New Jersey, is suing not Brandi Glanville, but Bravo. So, by now you've heard so many different versions of what may have happened in Morocco. Basically, what Caroline is accusing Brandi of in the lawsuit is her forcing a kiss on her and other damning claims. But she's not suing Brandi. She's suing Bravo production companies. Caroline Manzo is claiming that they were supplying the ladies with alcohol and even they were encouraging Brandy's behavior. Brandy, since this whole debacle has happened, has also reiterated very similar accusations in her own statements. Everything changed in 2023 when filming began for Real Housewives' Ultimate Girls Trip Morocco. Caroline later filed a bombshell lawsuit in January 2024 against Bravo, NBC Universal, and her co-star Brandi Glanville. She claimed Glanville sexually assaulted her, forcibly kissing, groping, and following her into a bathroom while production stood by and filmed. Her complaint accused the network of ignoring consent, supplying alcohol to fuel conflict, and prioritizing sensationalism over safety. She described being humiliated and unsafe while cameras rolled, but Bravo's producers offered a different version. Executive producer Lisa Shannon told Page Six that Caroline described feeling disrespected, not violated. Brandi denied all claims, saying she followed producers' direction in a light-hearted scene. The contradictions fueled public confusion. Was Caroline's lawsuit an act of courage or an attempt to reshape a PR disaster into victimhood? Either way, the image of the composed matriarch was gone. In 2024, headlines exposed financial trouble at the Manzo family's famous banquet hall, the Brownstone, in Paterson, New Jersey. Public tax records revealed over $137,000 in unpaid property taxes tied to its parking lot. The city reached a settlement of $1,365 per month to make up the debt. They owe that in back taxes. There is an outstanding bill of $135,000. So, the state had actually worked out a settlement with them, a payment agreement where they were willing to project their taxes. Instead of $2 million based on the property and the value of whatever, they were able to lower it from $2 million to $1 million instead, but they still owed that $135,000. But after initial payments, reports suggest the family fell behind again. Albert Manzo, Caroline's husband, tried to separate himself from the issue, claiming that accounting oversights caused delays. But public sympathy was thin. Caroline's family had built a television empire preaching hard work and moral rectitude. Yet, the numbers told another story. A brand once associated with elegance now carried the stench of financial neglect. For fans who saw the Manzos as self-made, the tax scandal felt like hypocrisy in plain sight. The Brownstone wasn't the only red flag. Over the years, the Manzos faced smaller civil disputes, unpaid vendor bills, missed payments, and service complaints. An elevator company once sued for $6,000 in unpaid work. Other local contractors described delayed checks and broken promises. These weren't enormous sums, but they painted a consistent picture. The Manzos struggled behind closed doors. There were whispers of internal family rifts, too. Caroline's public estrangement from her sister Dina Manzo and the resulting speculation about loyalty, money, and betrayal only fueled the impression that the perfect family brand was cracking. Behind the facade of order was a storm of debt, discontent, and distrust. Critics say Caroline's lawsuit reflects a pattern of shifting narratives. Early reports said she felt disrespected, yet her later filings described traumatic sexual assault. The difference between those accounts left viewers confused. Was she downplaying it initially or amplifying it later for legal gain? In a court of law, those inconsistencies matter. They also feed public doubt. Some see her as a victim of reality TV exploitation. Others see a veteran reality star using a sensitive issue for relevance and settlement leverage. Meanwhile, her legal filings accuse Bravo of creating unsafe environments for women. A sweeping claim that's difficult to prove. Without clear evidence, Caroline risks appearing opportunistic rather than principled. The irony is brutal. The woman who once condemned others for drama now thrives within it. The Morocco lawsuit and the tax scandal together shredded the last of Caroline's matriarch mystique. Public discussion about her has shifted from admiration to skepticism. Her measured tone now sounds performative. Her moral speeches ring hollow in fan forums. She's described as calculating and outdated. Sponsors and event organizers have quietly pulled back. Her appearances once commanded respect. Now they invite awkward questions. Even Bravo seems cautious. No major invitations, no reunion surprises. Caroline may still insist on her integrity, but public patience has waned. The harder she fights to appear righteous, the less convincing she seems. For someone who built her legacy on discipline and ethics, Caroline now faces hard accountability. Legally, she must prove her claims in court. Financially, she must reconcile public tax records and settle debts. And publicly, she owes an explanation for why the image she sold to millions no longer matches the facts we see. Her critics argue she spent years policing others' morality, yet fell short in her own affairs. In the morality play that Real Housewives of New Jersey became, Caroline wrote herself as the judge. Now, she's on trial in her own script. One of the least discussed, but most telling parts of Caroline's downfall is the silence from within her own family circle. Her feud with sister Dina Manzo remains unresolved. The sisters haven't spoken in years, reportedly over issues tied to loyalty, business, and criminal allegations involving Dina's ex-husband, Tommy Manzo. When Tommy was charged in a violent assault case against Dina's partner, Caroline wrote a letter to the judge in support of Tommy. That letter destroyed any chance of reconciliation. For fans, it was shocking. The supposed family loyalist siding against her sister. It turned Caroline's famous thick as thieves mantra into irony. Even among her children, there's less visible unity. Albie and Chris continue occasional appearances, but the glow of the family brand has faded. Viewers once saw them as a tight clan. Now they seem fractured, each carving separate paths away from the brownstone burden. Caroline's battles with Bravo may have burned bridges she can't rebuild. Inside sources claim Bravo executives were deeply frustrated by the Morocco lawsuit, viewing it as an attack on the entire network rather than a single grievance. While Bravo has faced multiple lawsuits from former stars, insiders reportedly categorize Caroline's as uncooperative and antagonistic. Producers have distanced themselves, stating she refused mediation and used media to pressure settlements. Whether or not that's true, it paints her as difficult. The one thing no producer wants in a reality star. For a woman once admired as a Bravo loyalist, this is reputational suicide. Her lawsuit may hold moral ground, but it has cost her professional home. Bravo's newer generations of stars have little connection to her. Her relevance is fading. If this was an attempt to reclaim control, it may have backfired. Caroline's war with Bravo didn't restore her image. It sealed her exile. Caroline Manzo's image once symbolized loyalty and strength, but over time it unraveled. The woman fans saw as a wise matriarch became viewed as rigid and hypocritical. What started with defensive interviews and online spats grew into full disconnection from her audience. Her confidence looked like arrogance. Her honesty felt like control. Viewers questioned why someone who claimed to avoid drama kept revisiting it. Bravo and fans moved on. Newer stars offered openness and vulnerability, traits Caroline resisted. Even her family, once her greatest strength, became part of the gossip. Her fall wasn't sudden. It was a slow loss of trust. The woman once seen as authentic now seemed out of touch. And her credibility faded quietly, one defensive remark at a time. The Caroline Manzo saga offers a modern cautionary tale about image management. For years, she projected control. The mother who doesn't tolerate nonsense. But her empire depended on that perception. Once cracks appeared, a lawsuit, a debt, a feud, the illusion collapsed quickly. Reality stars often confuse fame with authority. Caroline's downfall shows how thin that line is. The moment you trade privacy for exposure, your mistakes become your story. Every unpaid bill, every public statement, every courtroom filing becomes a character in your downfall. Her failure isn't just about taxes or lawsuits. It's about hubris, the belief that moral branding can survive real-world contradictions. Caroline Manzo's story is no longer about elegance or power. It's about consequences. She rose on family values, fell through controversy, and now stands in limbo, litigating her reputation while her empire slowly erodes. Her lawsuit remains pending. Her debts are public and her relationships fractured. The woman who once demanded accountability from others must now deliver it herself. Her life illustrates a hard truth of reality television. Authenticity can't be edited forever. When private flaws collide with public scrutiny, even the strongest image can shatter. So, here's the verdict. Caroline Manzo isn't a villain or a victim. She's a warning. A warning that image-driven morality crumbles under real-world pressure, and that fame without self-awareness is a slow-burning scandal waiting to ignite. Caroline Manzo wanted to be remembered as the matriarch of integrity, but her scandals left a different legacy. Proof that behind every polished persona lies a truth reality TV can't hide forever.